เสียบโอ้โหยอดมาก Giant gonna return.
That's it.
He looks like an angel with a serene face, blue eyes, and blonde hair. But as soon as the bell rings, that image disappears.
Body shots. Sundell in the ring punches.
At just 17 years old, Smilla Sundell had already conquered Thailand. She dethroned veterans twice her age and became the youngest champion in one championship history. They call her the Hurricane for a reason. Once she starts moving forward, no one can stop her. And now, that same storm is heading towards MMA. Today, you're about to hear the story of the angel-faced destroyer who has become one of the most dangerous names in combat sports. Born in Sweden in November 2024, Smilla Sundell started practicing karate at just 5 years old. But after moving with her family to Thailand at the age of 12, she discovered Muay Thai and everything changed. During the following years, the tall and ultra-aggressive Swede racked up one victory after another until the local scene in the South could barely contain her. Then, in 2019, when her family returned to Sweden, they made a decision that most people would have made. Nunca tomarían. They let their 15-year-old daughter stay alone in Thailand to pursue a life in combat sports. She moved to Pattaya and joined the legendary Fairtex Gym, one of the most respected combat sports centers in the world. And for the next 9 months, Smilla overwhelmed her opponents with such relentless pressure that she earned the nickname, the Hurricane. After a year perfecting her technique at Fairtex, Smilla Sundell faced Pornpan Por at Super Champ Muay Thai. Muang Phet, a dangerous and experienced Thai prospect who was fighting at home in front of her own crowd. Sundell, on the other hand, was only 15 years old. She was Swedish and was still practically unknown outside the training gym.
วงแล้วครับทางด้านของสมิล่าซันเดลครับ
โอ้โหไม่ใช่แต่ว่าใช้แผนจู่โจมครับต่อยก่อนได้เปรียบอีกแล้วครับนักมวยชาวต่างชาติดูดีๆคุณมารุตดูดีๆครับแฟนๆช่องแปด
เข้าไปโอ้โหดูครับยิงหมัด
พาประเจียดครับพาประเจียดครับเหมือนจะหลุดออกมาครับไม่เป็นไรครับถ้าหลุดจากโอ้โหยาวเหลือเกินครับพาประเจียดไปแล้วครับไม่เป็นไรครับก็ปล่อยให้เกมไหลไปก่อนครับ
เข้ามารวบในครับตีได้หรือ
Sundell made the difference in size and pressure impossible to ignore. Her long jab controlled the distance. Her front kicks reset the distance. And every combination made it clear that this wasn't a nervous teenager just trying to survive. She was there to take control.
โอ้ยสายกระแทกแม่นครับต้องระวังครับพรพันธ์ไม่ใช่งานง่ายนะครับดูครับทักษะการใช้หมัดของไม่ธรรมดาจริงๆครับคุณมาดูให้ดีครับแต่ใช้หมัดดีครับดูดีๆครับโอ้ยพรพันธ์เจอมาเยอะครับจ่อยท้องอีกต่างหากแล้วง่ายหรือเคี้ยวยากครับดูครับโอ้ยดูมาอีกแล้วโอ้โหน่ากลัวเลย
สมิล่าซันเดล
นี่แหละครับดูพัฒนาการของเขานะครับทำไมต้องหัดมวยไทยตั้งแต่อายุน้อยๆครับดูครับนี่คือทั้งสองคนบนเวทีครับ
โอ้โหดูครับทั้งเตะทั้งต่อยครับเข้ามาวงในวางแข้งซ้าย
คีบคอครับดูครับครับคีบได้แล้วแต่ว่ายังแข็งแรงอยู่ครับจะกันเป็นหรือเปล่าเท่านั้นเองนี่ให้ได้นะครับครับ
เข้ามาวางแข้งซ้ายกับพรพันธ์โอ้โหสมิล่าซันเดลครับ
นี่ครับจบข่าวพระราชสำนักจำไว้นะครับเสาร์อาทิตย์ต้องตาม
นายนี่ก็ถึงหน้าครับเข้าไปตอนนี้เจอทั้งซ้ายทั้งขวาเสียบเข้ามาอีกโอ้โหเสียบมันเสียบแรงจริงๆครับ
Sundell didn't take long to show who was in control. In the second round, he landed a devastating finish that shocked the local crowd.
ไม่ใช่เข่าในประเทศไทยครับ
ขับไปครับกับมันขวาโอ้โหยิงตัดลำตัวครับแล้วก็ตีเข่าประกบในเสียบโอ้โหยอดมากเลยครับโอ้โห
น็อกเลยครับตีเข้ากระโดงคางครับตีเข้าหน้า
A 15-year-old girl from Sweden had just arrived in Thailand and had brutally knocked out one of its best prospects. She had officially made a name for herself, and this was just the beginning. If the knockout against Pornpan caught people's attention, this was the fight that proved Smilla Sundell was no fluke. At the end of October 2020, just a few weeks after that spectacular finish, 15-year-old Smilla returned to Bangkok's Super Champ Muay Thai. This time she was facing Sao Sing Sor Sopit, a decorated veteran with much more experience and a big name in the sport. This was supposed to be the kind of matchup that would put a young prospect in her place. Sosing had the composure, the track record, and the advantage of experience. But Smilla wasn't just any teenager trying to survive. She fought like someone who expected to win.
เดินลุยเลยครับดูครับซิมิล่าซันเดลโอ้โหแรกเลยครับสาวสิงห์ก็ไม่กลัวเหมือนกันดูโอ้โห
เอาละครับใครเป็นโรคหัวใจใครเป็นโรคความดัน
Sundell took advantage of her remarkable height and reached to keep the veteran Sosing at bay with her long jabs and front kicks. Every exchange gave the impression that Smilla was breaking the veteran's rhythm, taking away her space and making it difficult for Sosing to get into the fight.
24เขา16ย่าง17แล้วดูการออกอาวุธหมัดครับ
โอ้โหดูครับออกเป็นชุดนะครับซิมิล่าซันเดลครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นหมัดเป็นแข้งครับตอนนี้สาวสิงห์
ซันเดลจากสวีเดนแฟร์แท็กส่งเข้าประกวดลูกเสียบครับหน้าหงายเลยครับอ้าวแล้วครับนี่ครับอย่างที่ผมเรียนไว้คู่เดือดครับโอ้ยครับถอดหัวเลยครับสาวสิงห์
ต้องกัดฟันสู้นะครับเลือดนักสู้ครับสาวไทย เอาละครับศอกซุป
อยากไปรับเยอะอ้าวข่าวกับศอกโอ้โหโอ้ยพ่อเจ้าแม่เจ้าพระคุณลุ้นช่องเอ้ยนี่คือสุภาพสตรีของแท้นะอ้าวครับหนักเลยวันนี้หนักเลยพยายามกัดฟันบวก
The Hurricane kept up a blistering pace, constantly moving forward and forcing Sosing into defensive positions. Combining her Muay Thai techniques with precise boxing combinations, Smilla controlled the clinch, landing powerful knees to the body that wore down the veteran and turned the fight in her favor.
ส่วนทีมแฟร์แท็กคนสวีเดนต้องชี้ไปเลยครับคู่นี้โอ้โหดูครับหมัดเท้าเข่าศอกมาแบบครบสบคให้คนเข้าประมาณ 50% แล้วครับ
เอาละครับเริ่มมีศอกแล้วครับตอนนี้สาวสิงห์เริ่มมีศอกมาตั้งโอ้แต่ว่าดูครับแรงเข่าของสมิล่า
ทีมของสอโสพิษว่ายังไง
โอ้ย
นะครับ
ศอกครับ
ต้องออกข้างครับถอยตรงๆนี่หนีไม่ผ่านแน่ครับโอ้โหเหลือเกินจริงๆครับคู่นี้พละกำลังของเธอครับ
At the end of the 3 rounds, Smilla Sundell won by decision, but this was no ordinary victory.
ครับคนนี้เอาละครับมีศอกครับดันเข้าไปโอ้โห
แทงเข้าไปแต่ละดอกคุณมรุต
แม่โดนเข่าตัวลอยเลย
มาแบบนี้ตลอดนะครับไฟแรกต่อยกับพรพันธ์ก็แบบนี้ครับทางด้านของซามิล่าซันเดย์แกเอาก่อนแทงทักษะมวยไทยนี่สุดยอดจริงๆครับอ้าวสาวสิงห์ครับจะเอาตัวรอดได้หรือเปล่าครับแม่จัดหนักจริงๆครับเอาสับศอกโอ้ยซามิล่าซันเดย์นี่แกก็ไม่หยุดจริงๆครับโอ้โหแทงแต่ละดอกครับ
แรงไม่มี
It was the kind of victory that told the Muay Thai world this promising teenager was becoming something much more dangerous. Shortly after, she rose to the top of the WBC women's featherweight rankings at just 15 years old. After 14 months, Smilla Sundell had already built a reputation in Muay Thai, and one championship called her. On February 25, 2022, at just 17 years old, the Hurricane made her debut on the biggest Muay Thai stage in the world, facing the Australian fighter Deandra Martin. It wasn't supposed to be easy. There was a lot at stake. New promotion, bigger audience, smaller gloves. Deandra Martin was a real test, and the whole world was watching to see if Smilla could rise to the occasion. But she didn't just rise to the occasion, she took control of the fight.
Long reach on the Aussie. Smilla goes body.
Andrew Martin needs to deal with that jab. Michael, usually, most of the time, it's hard to deal with.
Smilla keeping busy in the clinch. All right, hand connected well for Smilla.
This forward pressure, look at Sundell just walking her down.
Catch and kick. Nice high kick from Deandra. Jab 2, body shot from Smilla Sundell.
She's got a really strong clinch, and the way she's able to control. Like
Oh, wow.
right?
From the very first moment, Sundell used every inch of her height and reach to control the fight. Precise jabs, long teeps, direct and powerful strikes that kept breaking through Deandra's guard no matter how much she tried to adjust it. Her work rate was relentless, but never reckless. Every strike had a purpose, and every step forward quietly cut off another escape route.
Now from the Swede.
And just trying to tie up the head there. And
15 more seconds to go here. Low check. Stop! Nice count.
especially the way that Sundell gets that inside control. Oh, big push kick.
Round kick from Deandra. Overhand left from Smith. Because they know that her head was going.
That elbow right there. She's
Telling her get off the fence, and she's listening to Kieran in the corner is Deandra. Left hook.
By the end of the second round, Sundell had already knocked Deandra down twice. And at that moment, it was obvious that Deandra was being dragged into a fight she physically couldn't win.
Being forced back again, and Smilla puts that vice line for the final 10 seconds.
Passionate about the Aussie Warrior,
Oh,
but
Sundell's been
Sundell
absolutely phenomenal.
that body. She needs to open up. You can see her dropping down, changing.
Deandra showed a lot of courage by coming out for the third round, trying to find an answer. But Smilla refused to let that happen. She increased the pressure, landed a brutal 3-punch combination, and Deandra went down to the canvas for the third and final time.
Little Aussie battler spirit of Josh Thomas and his total ownership from Smilla Sundell. And the corners have Deandra. You've got to return. That's it. Smack bang the left hand. It's over.
At 1 minute and 35 seconds into the third round, the referee stopped the fight. 3 knockdowns and a knockout. Smilla Sundell won her debut in brutal fashion. Just like that, the Hurricane had arrived on the scene and made sure everyone noticed. In April 2022, just 2 months after her knockout debut, Smilla Sundell got her first shot at the world title. She was no longer just a promising and dangerous fighter. Now she was fighting to make history. Her rival, Jackie Bunton, was a powerful American fighter with an impressive record, with every reason to believe she was ready to become the face of the division.
The precision, the volume as well.
This was the real test. 5 rounds. The first won women's strawweight Muay Thai world title. The winner would not only take the belt, but also become the first woman in one history to hold it, and Smilla was still 17 years old.
Pressure coming from Sundell. Jackie's at home for that jab and that kick.
Catch and sweep it. Again, the jab from Smilla.
So you check off that knee leg.
And from the very beginning, Smilla fought as if she fully understood what was at stake. Immediately, she took advantage of her huge reach advantage, throwing that long telescopic jab, controlling the distance, and forcing Bunton to fight on Smilla's terms. Bunton was the more precise boxer. Her counterattacks were sharp and precise. But Smilla brought something much harder to prepare for. Pressure, volume, rhythm.
Time. Smilla jab to round kick. Jackie tries to sweep out the legs. Combination work clockwise.
Smilla's got to find a way to deal with the movement of Bunton. Yes.
Extension.
Did a little bit of
Nice jab from Bunton.
That was a good one.
On the inside.
It's a big part of her game, and she likes that to her left so that she can check to the right.
Good right.
Counter. You can see when she goes, and then Jackie starts to let go with that 3-punch combination.
Like a Bunton. Catch. Good defense again by Smilla. Down the elbow attempt off the left there from Smilla. Breaks the knee. Those long limbs causing some problems.
In each of the rounds, Bunton faced the same brutal problem: how to deal with someone taller, faster, and constantly cornering you. And the further the fight went on, the worse that problem became.
Punch coming from Jackie.
Oh, Smilla tags her, beautifully done! Smilla with the heavy artillery!
By rounds 4 and 5, most fighters would be exhausted. Smilla kept fighting at a pace that seemed almost unfair. She kept scoring with body kicks, elbows in the clinch, and landing long straight punches from the outside, while Bunton, tough as she is, was visibly carrying the weight of 5 hard rounds.
Just can't get through the range. Here, Jackie catch. Counter. Nice right hand from Bunton. Puts the...
Smilla is just relentless with his forward.
Jab 2. Elbows here for Smilla, perhaps.
Yeah, Bunton's gonna have to.
The target. Knee guard again. Smilla tries for a hanging elbow. Loops over the top of the knee guard. The long arms. Smilla cracks the round kick again.
But what made her performance so impressive wasn't just the pressure. It was her composure. Smilla didn't rush, she didn't fall apart, and she didn't fight like a teenager on the biggest stage of her life. She fought like someone who had already decided the belt was hers and was just waiting for the judges to confirm it.
Especially in these third, fourth rounds. Here she is in the fifth. The second round, I mean, gender back foot. See how much she's moving?
G37 to Smilla Sundell after seconds. Can Jackie find something?
From Sundell.
Flying right to the guts. Jab. Trade of leg kicks.
After 5 rounds, the judges agreed. Unanimous decision in favor of Smilla Sundell. At just 17 years old, she became the first women's strawweight Muay Thai world champion in one, and the youngest world champion in the history of one championship, and with that, a $50,000 performance bonus. That was the night when Smilla Sundell stopped looking like the future of the sport. She became the present. In the fall of 2023, Smilla Sundell was no longer the teenage prodigy with something to prove. She was the reigning champion, and with that belt came a target on her back. Her first test as a defending champion was not just a simple warm-up fight. The atomweight queen of one, Alicia Galen Rodriguez, moved up a weight class, specifically to take the title from Smilla. What she had built and gave it her all in the fight.
McMahon admitted and started to pour it on. Landed a beautiful. Rodriguez really turns the strike over. Really tries.
Rodriguez came out aggressive from the very beginning. Strong blows to the body. Relentless pressure. She wanted to get to Smilla before the champion could find her rhythm, and for a brief moment it seemed like it might work.
An impressive pace the entire fight, and this is typically where
Sundell's stepping in on these punches. Like, she's not using that range. You see her get
shots, especially inside that close range, coming over the top of that guard.
Elbow on the inside, 2 big elbows, another one.
They say she needed to start fast.
Yeah, but she's matching the pace of Sundell, so she's not,
But then the tide started to turn. At the end of the first round, Smilla landed a clean left hook that visibly staggered Rodriguez. And just like that, the fight suddenly swung in her favor.
Gloves and throws elbows with venomous-like intentions. Nearing the end of the first round. Oh, big right by Sundell, that Rodriguez! Oh my goodness!
In the second round, Smilla picked up the pace. Her reach, her power, her pressure, everything started to increase at the same time. Rodriguez tried to use the clinch to break the rhythm and buy some time, but that didn't work either. Smilla was just as dangerous in close quarters, throwing knees, landing elbows, making every exchange more forceful than the last.
One thing I love about Sundell's style is that she's undeterred.
To begin for Sundell in the second round.
Sundell's trying to get her out of there.
Typically can and has run that kind of pace. She won't punch herself out.
Rodriguez going backwards. She just ate a right, followed by a left hook to the body. But she retaliates with a body kick. Look at this action. You are getting it here at One Championship, home of the world's greatest martial artist.
That right hand's getting through the guard of Rodriguez as she continues to
Effective elbows.
Sensational work from both women here tonight.
Different strategy change here for Alicia Helen Rodriguez coming out in this round because she immediately.
But now Sundell's got the inside, and she utilizes the elbows well as she touches it with the left.
Big left hook that wobbled Rodriguez.
And coming up with the uppercuts.
Rodriguez seems very intent on engaging in that clinch. Doesn't want anything. She's walking through the hands.
In the third round, Rodriguez moved forward to the center, trying to rewrite the script once again. But there was no way to escape from the hurricane.
For this third round.
Yeah, that seems to be the only MO for this third round.
Sundell is kind of made to it. She's utilizing the elbows a lot more. She likes that spear elbow that she just comes in with. Good hand combinations, the clinch, but Helen Rodriguez continues to look for that clinch.
Well, Rodriguez, as she came forward, she ate a left.
Atomweight champion is slowly beginning to fade, Rich.
Yeah, I think Rodriguez came out with that pace in the first two.
With Rodriguez cornered and out of answers, Smilla unleashed a relentless rain of punches that left the referee with no choice but to step in.
Be able to really fold it down, land those effective knees, and now we got hands and elbows coming in. 10-second call comes
body. Those body shots.
Sundell in the rain punches, and this one is over.
Smilla Sundell had retained her title by technical knockout in one of the most important victories of her reign. An 18-year-old champion had just dismantled another reigning world champion who had moved up a weight class specifically to dethrone her. In 2023, Smilla Sundell had already become a Muay Thai world champion. But instead of staying in the system that had made her great, she did something that made her even more dangerous. She switched sports. On May 26, 2023, at the Lumpinee Boxing Stadium in Bangkok, Sundell made her professional kickboxing debut against the devastating Milana Bielogorlic. It was a different sport with different rules, but the same Smilla. From the very beginning, she launched her attack with powerful jabs, using her reach to force Milana to fight at a distance where she never felt comfortable. The pressure was the same, only the rules had changed.
Straight. Oh, but look. Be careful not to walk in too deep, but I like the body roll. Oh, left hook to the body.
Going to the body, too. Digging the side. Going to the body.
Oh, there's a left hook from the
Shots is good. Spinning back fist. Sundell's doing a good job attacking that body. When he leads up a shot like that.
Again from Smilla. I think that one doing a bit of damage. You see
Kickboxers. She's leaving herself open in a lot of these exchanges.
And this is where things get interesting. In kickboxing, the clinch is broken almost as soon as it starts. That's a problem for a Muay Thai fighter, because the clinch is where some of the most devastating weapons reside. The knees, the elbows, the dirty work in close quarters. And Smilla couldn't rely on any of that here, so she had to adapt.
world champion here. Taking on a very big... It's another left hook to the face.
Especially that 1-2 combination. And then Smilla just throw hands.
And hands working herself into those abs of Bielogorlic. I don't think she even takes any breaths at this point. World champion both Muay Thai and kickboxing, trying to make her way.
Especially to the body. Those knees to hit Bielogorlic with everything to the kitchen.
Instead of looking for the clinch, she stayed active from the outside, combining straight punches to the head and body, and keeping a pace that kept Milana on the defensive for most of the fight.
Stop from Smilla Sundell, the Hurricane.
She wants to grab the head and get home and then start rolling those.
But they're looking around with knees to the body. They're coming from Milana Bielogorlic. Do not, when I fall into those knees, miss. That was champion Smilla Sundell. Her hands are looking sharp.
Milana was tough enough to last until the end, but she never found a way to slow down the pace or take control from the champion. And after 3 rounds, all 3 judges agreed. Unanimous decision, Smilla Sundell. No title on the line, no knockout finish, but the message was impossible to miss. Even in a different striking sport, with different rules and less room for clinching, the Hurricane continues to dominate. In May 2024, Smilla Sundell was supposed to have another world title defense against the powerful Natalia Diachkova. But before the fight, everything went terribly wrong. Sundell missed weight by 1.5 pounds and was stripped of the one women's strawweight Muay Thai world title. The fight went on, but only Natalia Diachkova could become champion. If Smilla won, the belt would remain vacant. So when the bell rang, it was no longer about a title defense. It was about proving that she was still the best in the division, with or without the belt to prove it.
Circling that big right hand over the lead hand of Sundell.
6. None would be bigger than this victory. One item that Smilla Sundell told us is that she wanted and needs to utilize her jab to her.
From the beginning, things got ugly. Diachkova came out aggressive, landing hard shots that reddened Smilla's face and put the former champion under pressure she hadn't felt in a long time.
But gotta wonder if the weight cut.
Big right hand! 2 right hands! Diachkova!
Yeah, like, and it's almost like she didn't need it. You just see the scorecard on the red.
For one of the very few times in her one championship career, Smilla looked genuinely uncomfortable, taking real damage, absorbing punches, and staggering under Diachkova's attack in the second round.
Diachkova got into a rhythm with that right hand.
Now she's starting to...
But Mitch has...
Then came the moment that made everything worse. Diachkova knocked her down in the second round, and suddenly the most painful defeat of Smilla's career was staring her in the face. No title, no comeback story, just a defeat that would have marked her for years.
Going forward to land hands, she's getting lit up. And it was a nice little adjustment, but look at the dominance right there. Look at that redirection, put Sundell down. How often?
But something changed. After the knockdown, an enraged Sundell adjusted her strategy and focused on body attacks, targeting the ribcage again and again until Diachkova's aggressiveness began to crack.
Very much coming up. She said this is going to be the summit of her career and her success against Smilla Sundell. Spinning back kick round. Now Sundell looking at...
Yeah, she has. That's a nice little combination there thrown by Sova. But Diachkova just takes running Sundell with some shots. Good jab there.
Then, with only 1 second left in the second round, Smilla landed a brutal left hook to the body that left Diachkova against the ropes. Sundell rushed in with punches and knees, and the referee stepped in at 2:59 of the second round, and then, with only 1 second left in the second round, Smilla landed a brutal left hook to the body that left Diachkova against the ropes and immediately rushed in to seal the victory.
But Sundell starting to find some success here with her signature aggressive style. Ooh, nice body shot.
Oh my goodness, Diachkova's up! Diachkova's up! Sundell has Diachkova up towards the end of the second! And it's over!
Smilla Sundell had won by knockout or technical knockout, but this was not a happy celebration. It couldn't be. She had lost her title at the weigh-in, faced one of the toughest fights of her career, got injured, fell to the ground, and still managed to recover to stop one of the most dangerous fighters in the entire division. The belt was vacant, but no one in that arena needed a title to know who the best fighter was. Champion or not, on paper, Smilla Sundell kept fighting like one. After the weight issues, Smilla made one thing clear: she wanted to move up a weight class. But one doesn't have a higher weight division for women's Muay Thai, so instead of facing the same problem again, she set her sights on mixed martial arts. Her debut was initially scheduled for December 2025 in Las Vegas, but her opponent pulled out the day before the fight. A new date was set, and on January 22, 2026, Smilla Sundell made her professional MMA debut, defeating She-Hulk Miranda Barber by knockout in the first round.
Jab head up. Push up base. Jab head. Yes. Look for your elbows. Go to work. With a nice body shot. Hey, that hurt her. Keep working that body, Smilla. She wants out now. Yeah, up top. Bring it out to the head. Smilla, bring it out to the head. Double up.
She's not just a great young striker. She's the kind of fighter who keeps evolving long after you think you figured her out. And something tells me we haven't seen the best of her yet.